right. Okay. So we are recording now. So, all right. So if I stop or if I make a small kind of pause in between two phrases because I want to get people to get in. And but yeah, so thank you for having me. Thanks, Rafiza, for having me today. So I'm Serge-Eric Blais. I'm the owner and the guy behind Turtlebrace. Project will show you today and present to you. And so we're a Canadian-based company, a bit far away from you guys, but our product is basically gone viral by itself. And I hope, well, after showing it to you, that you're going to feel this is a product that can help you become the architect of your own protocol. So basically, it's a new way of doing immobilization for any limb that we have or any situation that we need. So you're going to pardon me. It's a bit early on my end, so I just got up. So you have to, if I'm a bit slow to start, I didn't have my coffee yet, so that's why. But okay, so my name, like I said, is Serge-Eric Blais. We're in Canada. My background is I have a background into industrial design, with a specialty into ergonomics. Then I specialize in orthopedic and prosthetics. And I fell in love with medical and pushed on through to with OTs and PTs and orthopedic surgeons to become a specialized clinician with an R&D in sports medicine and trauma. So I've created this new brace that you will see. It's called Turtlebrace, and it's a new way, like I said, to immobilize any limb like a wrist or ankle. And as you can see around me, we have different braces to hold different position. So I don't know if I'm going too fast. Rafiza, if you stop me if I'm going too fast or I'm stepping over steps. But a Turtlebrace, I'll show it later. And I have different cameras. I got a close-up camera here to show you how it molds. But Turtlebrace is basically, it's a low temperature plastic that's being fused in between two fabric. And that low temperature plastic that's multi-perforated, so it has a lot of holes, when you heat it up, becomes soft like a cloth and very, very expandable. So you can really stretch it. And we played the strength and the weakness of both material so that basically when you stretch a plastic or when you heat a plastic, it has a tendency to expand. As you heat a fabric, it has a tendency to shrink. So when you stretch Turtlebrace, the high memory plastic wants to come back to original shape. With the material on top, it really shrinks back the brace to its original shape and just molds directly. So we have what we call a slap and forget kind of molding system. So you place it, stretch it, apply it, and it would just shrink to the limb to mold it by itself. So doing so, you're going to gain some time because you don't have to work the brace around, make sure it's molded. Like if some of you have done braces in the past, have molded some casts or doing some serial casting, things like that, we all know that when we're molding the brace or the cast, at the end, we'll look at a result and we go, yeah, that's not exactly what I wanted, because we took so much time concentrated around what we were molding that we kind of forgot the alignments, kind of forgot make sure that the brace was pretty much in a good angle, things like that. But you know what? We said, anyway, we'll have to see him back in a week. I'm not going to lose again another 40 minutes to mold the brace. So all those reasons makes us decide that, you know what, it's not that bad. So we're just going to continue on. So sorry. So basically, I'm sorry, I said it early in the morning for me, so I'm just losing my ideas. So basically having the brace that can really can really mold itself on the patient, give us all the time to really concentrate on the molding, making sure that we have the proper alignment. Also, as I'm going to show you on the close-up camera, is that the fact that the brace is auto-molding and we can really hold the patient to proper position That time that we wait for it to set up, so it takes about 3 to 5 minutes to just get hard, we have this one-on-one time with a patient. So you can basically answer question, give them pointers, reassure them. All those little points that makes a difference in the treatment. So basically, that's what a Turtlebrace is. Can you wait for me? Good. Take a glass of water for a second.
Sorry for Serge-Eric, it's actually like 5 a.m. I think, is it 5 a.m.?
4.
4 a.m. Okay.
It's 4 a.m. for me. I'm really sorry about that. It was a very short night, and so I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so like I said, the braces can be stretched and reheated and remolded many times. And all people ask me is how many times can you remold this stuff? And we stop counting after 250 times. So you can basically reheat it, remold it and every time you reheat it, it goes back to its original shape. So it's easy to just reheat it, restart. If you didn't like what you did, you can again reheat it. You haven't lost anything, so it saves you money, saves time. So it's a big thing on that. So Turtlebrace, we have, like you're going to see, and I'm going to mold the wrist, because you know what, molding a wrist is a lot easier than molding an ankle on the table. But we have ankles, we have all the ankles here. We're the only one in the world who makes the baby size, so from newborns up, and we can go all the way to the dad. So we have that's a medium, but we can have the large ankle. We have, as you can see, the wrist. I'm going to show you, we have add-ons that we can do the fingers with, and we have the body jacket on the back, and we have the leg, and we also have the elbow. You don't, like, my mannequin's a bit not best position, but you can see that we have an elbow also. So all those things can be given to you if you ordered it with no problem. Now, any question at this point, or am I okay? I'm not too groggy at this point.
Eric, the knee one, the
Yep.
lower limb, is that
Yep.
new? Or?
It is new. Actually, we're just coming out with the chart for that one. So it's not that new. It's been tried out and with great results. A lot of people, what you do is for kids, what you do is you take the elbow size and fit it to the knee. That can be done, but we're coming out with our own chart for the knee. So it's the same idea. It's a system that's made to basically easily you heat it. It comes out with a Velcro that is attached to a zipper. So you zip it up to the limb, and you can peel off the zipper and put some straps if you want. It all comes together. So basically that's it. So, but yes, the knee is new. Body jacket is new also. I don't know if you want to, some of you guys do scoliosis or hypotonic cases where the torso that needs to be stabilized, but doing a body jacket with our system takes about 15 minutes instead of waiting for weeks or days for a regular body jacket. So it makes you a lot easier, a lot faster to do. So coming back to my idea, so like I said, Turtlebrace, one of the things with Turtlebrace is so good for the patient is it has plastic is full of holes, so it breathes easily. And one problem that we face with a lot of patient is patient compliance. So if the brace is too hot or not comfortable, they will remove it. And then we don't have as much efficiency on our treatment. So having something that breathes more, you can go in the water with it, you can take a shower, go to the beach, makes the patient a lot more compliant because it's not blocked or has issue with a brace. And that means if they wear the brace a lot more, that means we have better result with the protocol. So how do we heat up a Turtlebrace? Now, Turtlebrace is a low temperature plastic, like I said. So you can heat it up either in hydrocolators. A lot of you guys are PTs, so you know those hot water bath that we have, those hot pads in it. You can use that to heat the plastic. You can use a hot water pan. You can use, like I have in my office today, a countertop oven, a small countertop oven. It's easy to find out, and or you can use what I love to show is our heating bag. Now it looks like a gym bag, so it's easier if you travel from one patient to the other. If you go from one facility to the other, you don't look like a mechanic walking with a big wallet of tools. Looks like a heating bag. And the heating system is pretty simple. It's just a regular air dryer. So those things you can find out about anywhere. They're easy to find. Don't cost that much money. So it makes it a lot more convenient for you guys to use and to get material. So basically that's it. So I think we've covered everything has to be done with Turtlebrace. At this point, I'm going to show you how it molds, how stretchy it becomes, and yeah. Any question at this point? No? All right. So let me just switch.
I'm Kumar here. Just one question. You said it's a low temperature plastic. How much weight you can take?
How much weight?
Yes, particularly if the person is like, say, example, 50, 60 kilos with a
No problem. No problem. Yeah.
What is the highest tolerance?
You know what? We haven't tested at the highest, but I can tell you, you can easily go to over 100 kilos.
Okay, that's good.
So a regular, like, I mean, in North America, we have big man. So we're talking like American football players kind of man, and they can easily weight bear on that. So what the plastic, and that's a good question. The plastic we're using, thickness, it is stronger than any fiber cast or polyethylene or polypropylene. So it's very, very strong. Now, the other thing is, and that's the other good question is, even though the plastic is pretty thin, we're talking about 3 millimeters in thickness. The fact that we have a full circumference molding give it its strength. The idea is, for example, you all have gutters around your houses, and the metal for those gutters is pretty flimsy by itself. When if you give it a shape, it becomes very, very solid, it becomes very resistant. So we've played, again, not only the fact that the brace is thin, but because we have a full circumference around the limb, we have a lot of strength because of the shape. So that's why you can easily weight bear on that. So any men or women can weight bear on it. They can with no problem. We do ask that the people wear either a shoe as much as possible or a sandal, something that would hold on the front part of the brace, and I'll show it to you later, because it gives a lot of tension to the zipper at that point, and sometimes the zipper will break. But if you have a shoe, there's no problem. It will fit in about any shoes. It's very, very thin, so it's easy to fit in most shoes with no problem. So yeah, no problem with that one. Also, like I said, shape is a big difference. The fact that if we have a full contact system, if you have someone who's spastic, spasm is sometimes triggered by the straps. The fact that you have no straps, you have no pressure point, and the spasm is less because of full contact. There's the system when you start to have the spasm will be stopped by the brace, so there's no spasm, less spasm. The body will be more relaxed to the fact it's more stabilized. So all those little things will happen. Just wait for a sec. The other thing is, that's the other question that I'm seeing is going to come out is, can we use it as an AFO or as a drop foot system? You can. Personally, I'm from sports medicine. Blocking fully an ankle joint or any limb to that point is not something we're really looking for. But yes, a lot of people are using it as an AFO because they love the stability that it brings to the foot. Now, the thing is, using it as an AFO, the durability of it is not there. We're talking about 4 to 6 months of durability. The reason why is because of the friction on the material, the fabric was just wear out, and eventually the plastic was just wear out too. So this is why the durability as an AFO is about 4 to 6 months. But if you want to use it, we have a lot of people are using it. They know they have to change it every 4 to 6 months, and they still don't care because they love the support. But Turtlebrace has been designed to start with as a rehab brace or a post-trauma brace. So for the ankle durability, the warranty on it is about 12 to 16 weeks. But if you're using it as a night splint for other kids or other adults, as a night splint, you're good for months. I had a case, I've used it for almost 2 years. So yeah, you can use it if you do it, for example, as a serial casting system. You can use it at the start of serial casting, then switch into a night splint. And after switching it to the night splint, you're good for a lot of months and other years. Same idea for the wrist, is good for a long amount of time. If you're using it, if using the body jacket, for example, same thing. You're going to be good for a lot of months, if it's not years. So all depending on how you use it, it's more the friction that is a problem to that. All right, did it answer your question? Great, thank you. I love your watch, by the way. All right, so you need to switch camera. I'm going to show you how to mold a Turtlebrace. I'll stretchy it becomes. Other question, there was probably I didn't say that, but what's the temperature of the plastic? We need to bring the plastic at the heat of the plastic at its core to about 65 degrees Celsius. Now, 65 degrees Celsius by itself directly to the skin can burn, but having a material on top, the fabric on top, will keep the plastic way cooler to the touch than what it is. So the fabric is protecting your skin. And when you put it to the body, we're talking about maybe 45 to 50 degrees Celsius. So we're under a temperature that can be dangerous for the patient and still have a lot of energy inside the core to have the plastic be stretchable and we can mold it. So that's the other thing. We always ask when you mold the Turtlebrace to put it on the skin and maybe wait for 2-3 seconds to make sure the patient can withstand the temperature. But if when you start molding it, because the body will be the coolant of the plastic, if you're molding it and the patient says, well, it's a bit too hot, remove it, wait a minute or so, and then put it back on, and you'll be okay. So the idea, and that's the problem that a lot of people are doing, is we're rushing to things. We've been trained to do it fast before it sets. Turtlebrace is the opposite. Take your time, relax, be zen about it. It's really something that takes time. You have time to mold it. And because it's, again, it's a tool molding, you have time enough not only to mold it, but to concentrate on your patient also. All right, so let me switch it to your camera and we'll go forward. All right, just my camera here. All right. Okay, so Turtlebrace, when you heat it up, okay, when it's cold, as you saw, it's pretty rigid. Okay, when you heat it, it becomes very, very, very soft, and it's really, really stretchy. You can really stretch it. Okay, and even if you stretch it hard, if you leave it, as you can see, it has a tendency to go back to original shape. So this is what I was telling you about, is you can stretch it hard a lot and it will just go back to original shape. That means that when you place it on the body, it will just mold by itself. So like I said, as a joke, don't do that alone at home. I'm a trained professional, but how fast is it to mold a Turtlebrace? It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's it. This is how fast it takes to mold a Turtlebrace. and you can stretch it. If I want a longer brace, you can place it. And like I said before, at this point, I can really concentrate on the position of my patient and making sure to have proper alignment on my patient. And because I'm holding the patient into place, I have that time to just talk to them, answer a question, like I said, concentrate on the patient. And that makes a big difference, because today in modern medicine, we kind of forgot our patient. We're so rushed to do things that patient comes in, we fix the problem, and we send the patient back home. With this, because we had that few minutes to talk to them, they feel like we're interested into them. We can, because we can have the time to answer questions, you don't call us back with that question that they have. And when they do so, we're basically taking about 15 minutes to answer that question. So with this, it's easy. We can easily just make sure everything is fine. They do understand. Patient feels that, yeah, I'm really part of the team. And they feel that they can understand what we're going to do. And that makes a big difference in patient compliance. Now, the other thing, like I said, I don't know if you can see it well, but my watch is already molded in the brace. So it's easy. It shows you how precise the molding is. All right, let me switch camera again. Okay. Camera 2. All right, so it's really simple. Turtlebrace has been designed to be simple. Turtlebrace has been designed to help us clinician to be more efficient with our patient. And because a lot of times when we do protocol to rehab, the problem that we faced was the brace. The brace was what was limiting us to go further in what we wanted to do. Having something that can basically do whatever we feel we need it to do makes us the capacity to just be the architect of our own protocol, to just redo what we need to do and to do what we have to do. So this is a brace that's really more simple to for us to use. Also, like I said, brace takes about 3 to 5 minutes to cool down. The body is the coolant. The body would just cool down the brace. So no matter how hot it is, no matter where you are in the world and it's very, very hot, the brace will never be too hot to demold itself, because the body will always cool it. If you leave it on the window shelf, for example, in Canada in the springtime, it can be -0, but the sun is so strong that if you leave it on the window shelf, it would just like melt. But we had people in Africa, close to Sahara, and it's very, very hot up there. And they said that they had no problem because the body was still cooling the brace, making sure it was keeping rigid. So yeah, this is how a Turtlebrace is molded. It becomes solid. Yeah. Am I missing anything, Rafiza? Or my no? All right. So it seems to be okay. All right. Any questions at this point still? All right, cool.
I think the only thing is the actual oven or the actual way that you actually soften the brace.
Okay, like I said, we're using a countertop oven or like I've shown before, the heating bag. Now, I don't want to be boring about that, but it's not a matter of heat. We're trying to just transfer energy in the plastic. We're talking about heat because a lot more people understand heat than joules. But actually what we're trying to do is transfer joules in the plastic. So the more energy there is in the plastic, the more efficiency we have to stretch and to work the plastic. That's a good question, Rafiza, because a lot of people, what they do is they will crank up the oven and to make it really, really hot, hoping it will go faster. Well, you don't want to put the oven or the water too hot. Well, water is not a problem because it will never go up more than 100 degrees Celsius. But the oven, you want to keep it under 105, 110 degrees Celsius. Higher than that, you can burn the plastic, you can burn the Velcros. And even though on the top it feels hot, the core has to be heated. So we're really looking to have a plastic that at the end feels mushy, feels soft, a bit more like rubbery. So you know that we have this kind of texture that the plastic is really well heated through and through. So that's one thing. I'm talking about jewels because our system, the heating bag, uses a hairdryer. The reason why is air by itself is insulation. Forcing air on top of the plastic will just break that barrier and just make sure that we have a better heat transfer in between the hot air and the plastic. So the plastic will just drink more of those jewels and become softer. That's just why that bag has been created. And the bag is created, it has two chambers. It's not just a real regular bag. It has two chambers. One, you put in the air dryer in the plastic, fills up that first chamber, air goes out on the other end of the chamber and fills up the outer bag, and then it's been retaken by the intake of that air dryer to shoot the air inside the bag. So it makes a bag is efficient. That is also in matter of energy, it's recycling energy, so it doesn't cost that much in energy. So that's one idea. Also, we've tried it with great results. You can, in either an oven, you can cram up that oven, you can put a few braces in the oven and keep them there all day, and there's no problem. We've heated a piece, an ankle piece. It's up to more than 100 hours of being heated. So we're talking about 2 to 3 weeks, like from morning to night, heated with no problem. So you can keep a few. So if you have a clinic one day and you don't really know which size you're going to use, put a few in, heat them up, and take the one that you feel is going to fit. If it doesn't fit, change size, put it back in the oven, we'll go back to original shape. And still you're saving time. That's one big thing. Right now, we're all missing time. We have a worker shortage. Time is important. If you're doing a session for a patient, we have about 30 minutes. If you're using 25 of those minutes to mold, it's a loss of time. If it takes 5 minutes, then you're gaining time to do the rest of your exercises. So again, heating is, that's where we heat it. You can keep them hot and you have more efficiency to, thank you, to work on it. All right, now how to remove a wrist brace from a Turtlebrace. It's pretty easy. You just undo the zippers, the Velcros, making sure you don't catch. And it's like the hood of a car. You put the finger at one end and pull them out. And it's already fully rigid. Rigidity on a Turtlebrace takes 20 minutes to be full rigidity. I mean 100%. But the curvature to cool down, it's like it's really hot at the beginning, then cool down gradually. After 3 to 5 minutes, you're about 80% of rigidity. So that means it's rigid enough, you can let the patient go. You can even walk on it. It's rigid enough, but the rigidity will take about 30 minutes to get. Just 1 second, just getting one person get in. So gives you an idea of the time it takes to mold it. So, all right, let me switch camera again. I'm going to show you the finger add-ons, and then I'm going to show you how to mold an ankle, because Turtlebrace is very big on serial casting. It's been used a lot for serial casting. And I don't know if you guys do serial casting, if some of you guys have done it, but serial casting takes a lot of time, and a cast by itself is not that expensive, but if you do 8 or 10 of those, it becomes really expensive. So Turtlebrace is a good alternative, not only on time but also on cost, a lot on that too. So let me switch camera for a second. Yeah, all right. Oh, here. So we have the finger add-ons. So This is for the fingers. And that piece is a universal piece, so you can fit any cases. And the back of that piece is Velcro receptive. So when you place it, no matter where you cut it to fit, you still have the Velcro to fit on it. So you don't have to fit Velcros, attach it. So it's saving time on that too. That universal piece is made to either slid in between the fingers. So you can do for a boxer fracture, you can do a ulnar fracture, you can do a cock-up splint if you want, you can do a full length, because that piece of plastic here that is bare, when it's heated at dry heat, becomes tacky and will fuse directly to the brace. So you can easily just put it on and just create a brace like this one that has the finger that is attached to it. If you ever did a wrist brace for the fingers, the problem that we have is aligning the wrist and then aligning the fingers. So doing both in the same time, it's always difficult. So if you can really align the wrist at the proper position first, even if fingers are closed, you don't care. If you have a good alignment of the wrist, it's so much easier afterwards to just work the fingers. And you can just reheat the fingers and just be local in that matter, and gradually work the fingers towards being straight. So again, makes your job a lot easier. You just have to not fight and remold the wrist and fingers together, and just work the fingers gradually into position. Now, when this is fused to the plastic, it will be fused. So if you reheat the full brace, then you'll have to do like the regular conventional approach, doing the wrist and finger together. But like I said, again, if you just want to reheat the fingers, just work your finger to position, you can do it. You can dip it in hot water, for example, just the finger part in hot water to just make it soft and just remold the fingers into position. That's the thumb extension. Thumb extension, same idea. We have this bare plastic here. It's a universal size. When you heat it, it becomes really, really soft, and I'll show it to you in a second. But you can just apply it around here, fuse it to the plastic, and just pull it to do around the thumb. And the back of it is made to be Velcro receptive. So when you're finished at the thumb, even if you have too much material, you cut it with a pair of scissors. They're very easy to cut, and you just place your Velcro to close it. Now, I got a piece I'm going to show you. Now, that piece has been used many, many, many times to do that presentation, how to use the thumb. So it's not as sticky as it was at the beginning, but it gives you an idea how it works. So when you do a thumb, you just bend the plastic like so, and you apply it to the web of the thumb, and then you pull on it and you just wrap it around the thumb. Same thing on the other side. Like I said, this one has been used, already been cut. So when you place it afterward, you just use a piece of Velcro that comes with it, and you would close it. Now, doing a thumb by yourself is a bit complicated. So to give you an idea that I can do a good job, as you can see, this piece has been molded to the brace. We have this piece has been bended. I'm going to show you the internal part. So as you can see at the inside, the plastic, okay, is really molded to the brace. There's no that much plastic touching the skin. And because it's a rear entry, we have that opening here, so it makes it easier to just open it up, pull the thumb out, but you can just close it and hold it that way. All right, so we did the thumb, we did the fingers. let me show you the ankle. Any questions at this point? All right, so seems to be clear. All right, so let me switch to the other thing. Now, to do an ankle brace, same idea. It becomes very, very soft to the touch. When you press it, it's going to feel very mushy, very soft, very rubbery. That's what we want. It feels like a dough or something like that. So molding an ankle is pretty easy. One question we've been asked is, do we need to put any padding at the malleoli or anywhere? Personally, I don't. If I need to, I would put a small padding about, would say, 3 mil thickness, just to give a bit more space in between the bone and the plastic. You don't want to put too much space. You just want to give it a bit of space so the bone doesn't touch, but you want to keep it as close to the body as possible, so you have a good support and a good control over the ankle. Now, when you mold an ankle, what is really important to start with is just put my glasses on. So you really have to stretch it, and don't worry, you see, even if you stretch it hard, it will close down. So you re-stretch the front part before closing the zipper. Okay, because what you want to do is you want to create as much as possible. You don't want to have any tension at that piece here. Sometimes there's too much tension. This will have a tendency to just delaminate or break. So you want to really pull as much and reduce as much tension to the box here. Now, when you get to the heel around this part, sometimes you can do is put a piece of padding about this length, the width of the zipper, just to give a bit of space in between the zipper and the skin. It'd be easier for the patient to just zip it up if you have a bit more space here. So when you mold it, like I said, we have zipped it a bit, really dig at the back of the heel and pull as much material as you can. You really want to really stretch it here so there's no tension at the hind foot. See, if, as much as I can pull it, there's no tension here. So you pull it and then you zip it, and you can continue to zip it up all the way up to the end. Now, some people will say, yeah, but I have my braces that goes all the way to the tip of the toes. So you can really stretch the brace forward. You can stretch it under the toes. It's easy to do so. So you can stretch it to any shape that you want it to be. You can support all the way to the toes or not. Personally, I don't go all the way to the toes. I stop at the med heads, more than enough. I have enough stability around the tarsal part of the foot to have the stability that I look for. It's really a matter of up to you how you want to mold it. Now, molding a turtle brace for a, let's say, a toe walker. There's two ways. I'm going to show it to you. What I prefer to do for toe walkers, and that's my best way, is you have your patient lay flat on the table, have his foot bring up that way. So you have your chair, you can sit in front of the patient, make sure you pull on it, you attached it. And when it's attached, you can use the stitching as a guideline. As you see it, and probably going to see it well with this angle, is you can really see down the line, and you know if you're aligned or not. The other thing is, Turtlebrace is thin enough that if you press on it, you can really feel the bony sections. So you know that you can see if you're aligned, if your bones are pretty much placed the way you want it. So you place it, then you will take the toes, and with the toes, you will de-rotate your foot or correct your foot if you wanted. And for the angle of the foot, what you would use is either the meaty part of your palm or your forearm and press down the arch to force the foot down. So you take your foot, correct your toes, and really press on your patient to correct them. That's one thing I've changed in the protocol for serial casting. I've shown my parents to do exercises every night. Basically, just lean on your kid and really press on the foot down, making sure that you really stretch the ankle, making sure the ankle is straight, and just push on it. If you do it right, and even don't do it fully right, just that simple exercises just cut in half the time of rehab. Instead of doing 8 to 12 weeks to rehab for a toe walker, I did a serial casting for 4 weeks and still get my degree. So you can just reinforce and hold and correct, and just that way you can make a difference. Also for toe walkers, when I get to 9 degrees, well, like in this case like this, with a lot of angle, it's preferable that you put some kind of a wedge in the back, a heel wedge, to support the heel, so there's no too much tension to the foot. So having just a heel wedge in the back will just help you when you walk. And when you get to 90 degrees, when you start to go to dorsiflex, then I would just switch the brace from a day brace to a night brace, because it's easier on the knee, easier to walk, and still have your degrees. So that's one little difference. Now, if your patient doesn't like to be seated, to be lay flat on the table, what you can do is you can sit them in front of you. I'm going to switch camera for a sec. All right. You can have them sit in front of you. And again, you would use your toes to correct the foot, but you would use either your belly or a cushion and just hold the knee and pull the knee down towards you, or having someone to help you and just push. And you can just force that way to go for dorsiflexion for toe walkers. That's one way of doing it also. And you will hold the foot into position, wait for it to set, like I said, 2 to 5 minutes, you can talk with them, give them pointers, and basically that's it. So that's all there is to it. This is how simple and easy a Turtlebrace is. And that's it. Any question?
I just want to clarify what Eric said about putting a padding. It doesn't have to be there all the time. It's only for when you are actually molding it, and then you can take it out. And then as it sets, there's actually a gap for the client to actually so there's no pressure on the
The hind place.
Yes. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, thank you. Like I said, yeah, you just, when you put padding, it's just for the molding, and just remove it afterward, and that's it. Just give you a bit of space between the bone and the brace. As simple as that. So yeah, for the back brace in the back, if some of you want to do it, it's very easy. It's a new approach. But to mold a body jacket, if you have a patient that is a bit stony, you can do it by yourself. You just need to hold it into position. If you have someone who's like a scoliosis patient, or someone you want to correct the torso, it's what we call a forehand molding. So one person will hold the hip while the other one will hold the underarm, and just de-rotate your patient into position. Now, the brace has been designed so it can be cut, even though it goes all the way to the shoulders. If you want to have it shorter, you can just use a pair of scissors and cut it. If you have someone who has a stomia, you can just cut a hole for the valve, and that'll be as simple as that also. One last thing, just before I forget, in the ankle, we have regular size that you saw, but we also have a reinforced brace. The reinforced brace has a bit of plastic that is added up around the hind foot here, just so the brace doesn't buckle. So if you have someone or is more dynamic, not really the weight, but really more dynamic. For example, you have an autistic kid, instead of running like this in the room, has a tendency to run like this in the room, then you would use a reinforced brace to make sure that it doesn't buckle at that point. I would say around the world, 4 out of 5 patients are molded with a standard system. It's just really when those cases that you're afraid that can have a situation you would use the reinforced system. The inconvenience of the reinforced system is it takes longer to heat up because we have to double the thickness of the plastic at that point. So it takes a lot more time to heat up, but it takes also more time to cool down. Personally, I always start with a standard one. Never really had an issue. I think in my cases, like one time I've used a reinforced because the kid was really running all the time. And even though I told the parents and we tried to tell the kid to cool down, it didn't. It was just full throttle, was running every time, all the time. So in that case, we had no other choice than to use a reinforced system. But you can have a heavy man or an elderly patient, and you would use a standard one with no problem at all. So simple as that. All right. So basically, I think I covered all the bases. So any questions? None? Am I that clear? Even though it's already that morning? So if there's no questions, like I said, Rafiza is a great girl. So yeah, get in touch with her. Even though it's early, I'm always open. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Send me questions. We can do Zooms. Have helped a lot of people molding the first time through Zoom. The best one was I was in France in the train helping a colleague of mine in Chicago molding. So if I can do that, I can do about anywhere. And yeah, and have fun. That's one thing we say to all the clinicians around the world is have fun, be creative. The idea is Turtlebrace is a tool. It's not the way to do it, is the way you want it to do it, and how you want it to do and help. So be creative. That's really the word we're saying to a lot of people, and a lot of people have been creative. So yeah, it's simple as that. And if there's no more.
I just want to say as well that if you guys want to have a demo, like just give me a call and I'm either myself or one of my staff can come down and show you guys how to use it. Yep, and do it with you guys together.
Yeah, it's better.
All right. So there's no other
Thank you, Eric.
question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and I'm sorry it was maybe a bit groggy still.
No, sorry for you to break from your sleep.
No, it's all right. It's all right. So thank you all for your time. I hope it was not such a bore. And like I said, if any question, anything at all, let me know, and I'll be there to help you out. So
All right. Thank you.
have a good afternoon, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See you. Bye. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Raf.